In this video, I'm going to explain what is Rails Engine. I have picked 5 titles to make you clearly understand what is Rails Engine. The first title is what is Rails Engine, second one, why Rails Engine, third one, how to create Rails Engine, and fourth one, how to use engine in normal Railsland app, and the fifth one, things to be considered before use engines. To start with, what is Rails Engine? Engine can be considered module, plugin, or normal Railsland application in miniature format. So basically, Engine have same folder structure as Rails application has, with some subtle differences. Some folder structures can be varies, and that's all about this folder structure stuff. And Engine can work independently like normal applications works. So this all about Rails Engine. We'll move to next slide. Why Rails Engine? So as I explained in this previous slide, Engine can work independently like normal applications work. So over to that, why we are going using Rails Engine as separately. So these are 4 major situation as a Rails developer in our career we might face, and this 4 major situations solution is Rails Engine. The first one, you writing a library or utility things that you want to share or allow user to reuse through Rails app, and that is it. That's the Rails Engine, only a perfect place to do that. And the second one is product recommend demands, that we going to build a whole new module and that's supposed to work sort of independently from our current module, our host application, but we don't want to complicate our DevOps. We kind of wanted it to be in the same Rails app instance. Then the perfect solution is Rails Engine. The third one, application is bigger. So to clean up code and keep maintainability alive, we can separate a feature and its functionality into a module, and that is as engine we can do it. And the fourth one, when we are using something from outside, we have to consider that whatever we using, it should not disturb the existing the code and functionality which already there in the Rails host application. So to keep that as a concern, we have to pick stuff. So Rails Engine is the perfect fit because it has an isolate namespace. This will help to distinguish engine routes from host app routes. I'll explain about what is Rails. Isolate namespace in the latest slide. We'll move to next slide. That is how to create Rails engine. There are 2 ways we can create it. First one is Rails plugin new and then engine name. Here this blog is engine name hyphen mountable. This is one of the command that we can create Rails engine. The other one is Rails plugin new, again Rails name, Rails engine name and hyphen full. So this also can create Rails engine, but over to that we are using mountable because this mountable has additional features than this hyphen full. So using this command we can create Rails engine. Okay, let me show you the code. So I've already created this blog using the command. So as soon as we created, the first thing to consider this blog and blog.jmspec. So in this, wherever this to do is there, we have to replace the URL where we storing this engine stuff. Say in my case I have stored this engine into GitHub repository. So that GitHub repository URL I'll replace this to do. So wherever this to do is there, we going to replace GitHub repo. In my case I'm using GitHub, so GitHub repo URL I'm going to use it. So that's all. You use the URL where you're storing it. So that's all about this file. And next one is lib has folder called that engine name blog, down to that engine.rb. So this is what I have explained in the previous slide. This isolate namespace. So this one by default it takes the engine name. So this going to be always starting off the any routes which is be defining in this engine. And if you look at this config and routes, yeah, that's it. So if you see this routes, it's starting from this isolate namespace blog which there in the engine.rb. So this blog and engine, what this going to do is are going to tell us whatever the routes we going to define in this engine, it will start with blog. So for example, if you look at this, unicorn is the normal rails application that I have created. And if you go to this config and then routes.rb, if you see, this is how we are mounting our rails engine into application. So blog, so it's starting with the namespace called blog, which already defined in this engine.rb. So this is what I am explaining. This namespace going to tell this application that whatever it's starting from this namespace, it's a engine stuff. So in this way we can distinguish the engine stuff and the normal application stuff. Okay, so we are going to now see what is dummy app. So dummy app is the place that we can keep all the dependencies for that engine. Let me open the code. Okay, if you look at this test folder, down to the dummy is there. In this dummy we can keep all the dependencies for this engine. So what does mean? Say for example, we are creating some features in this engine, and that some feature we are going to inject or mount into our application. So it's taking some stuff from the engine and it's using, it's completing its functionality. So in that case, this engine needed some data from the host app. So to test it, this engine is working very fine, and to test that we are keeping that application stuff away and keeping all those things into this dummy. So whatever the application has, those details you can keep it here, that dependencies for this engine. So now in this folder we can run this engine normally as the way we run applications, normal Rails application with Rails server. So when we keep all the dependencies, DB stuffs, all the things, we can just copy paste from our host app to down to this, and we can run Rails server. So that's it. It works normally. In this way we can test it engine separately and make it works, whatever we needed stuffs, testing and modularizing, whatever we need to do, we can do it over here. That's all about this dummy. This dummy helps engine to work normally as the way Rails applications works. This dummy folder going to help in engine concept in a big way, because this is the place we keep the dependencies for the engine and make it work. So that's it. And what else I have to, okay, so now engine is ready, we are running the engine and it's working fine, test is completed. How are we going to use this engine into application? We'll see that. So if we open this any Rails application and find this gem file, so this how we going to mount the engine gem, and then engine name and the path. In my case I kept, now I'm showing locally, so I'm just given my local path of engine. So there are two way we can do it. Say for example we are using that engine into GitHub repo, so we can just give this gem and engine name and git and the GitHub repo path where we store this engine, the path, and if we maintain any branch we can give the branch name. This branch name is optional. So there are two way we can use it. In my case I am demonstrating for you in locally, so I kept it local path. So in this way we are mounting, and mounting or introducing engine into a Rails application, and how this routes works. Just go into config and routes.rb. In this file, this mount block engine at block. So this is how we are mounting the routes into Rails application. I think this all about Rails application. It's very easy. I hope you all understood it. So next one, what things to consider before using engine. So when we using common gem in both engine and host app, we have to be little conscious that why we are using commonly both places same gem, because say for example device if we using in engine and as well in the host app, it won't work as we expected. It works only in the host app. So this kind of thing we have to consider, and always use module format in the engine, not use class format. For example, in a controller we are writing class and controller name and down to that actions. The same way we should not do it in the engine, because engine we have to use it in the module format, module and module name and down to that class and whatever the stuffs. Because if we use class formats into engine, it gives auto loading issue. By default engine it has a module format, just to make you understand why this way it is there. And that's it. Engine controller inherits application controller, which takes from host app. This also we have to be a little concentrate. That's all. These all things that we have to consider before use engine. And these are the overall big picture. Engine using gem 1 and gem 2, and this engine can use into application 1 or application 2 or application 3 independently. We can use this in different applications. I think that's all about engine. Hope you all understood this. Thanks for watching this video. Consider to subscribe.